Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we are going to be working on a very... Actually, wait a second. We're going to be working on a very specific game, and that very specific game being Project Inchling. Or more accurately, we're going to be doing REDUX project of said Project Inchling called Project Inchling Endless Wandering. You may be wondering, Notepad, why are you doing it on a Sunday night? Because I'm bored. You caught me. I get bored. And I'm like, well, I may as well do it now. Because that's what I do. I do things based off nothing more than my innate desire to do them. Odd. So, let's see, we want to rename this to base. And now we get to... Actually, no, we want to do this to the Project Inchling Endless Wandering. Working. Why are you open? Steam, why are you open? Steam, stop being open, please. Ah. Yeah, Project Inchling kind of has an odd history to it. The entire idea behind Project Inchling was a very simple concept. It was, I want to make a game about tiny people. Because, weirdly enough, there aren't actually that many games focused around being very tiny outside of like a single. There's a PBTA game, and I think there's like a Smurf game. And when I was getting the initial things part of it, I was thinking like, okay, how do we want to do this? And I realized being tiny sucks. Being tiny really sucks because things will kill you. Things will kill you very fast, and if things aren't going to kill you, they're planning to kill you. Leading to a very amusing situation of how do you build a game around the very simple concept of being very tiny? And the secret to huge success was you build an incredibly dangerous traveling system. So Project Inchling was born out of that very, I would say, simple idea of how do you make a game that's deadly, scary, but still getting across the idea that you are very tiny in a very big world. And what resulted was probably one of the most intricate health systems I've actually written, because there are technically 4 different health tracks. So here's the title card. That is a Gargamel cosplayer in the background with the hand meme. And Darkest Dungeon sprites as everyone goes to Tiny Brazil. Because, fun fact, trying to find anything that is tiny people involved that's actually decent quality artwork is impossible. It's insanely hard for some reason. I don't know why. You think, oh, tiny people, cute, we like tiny people. No, apparently not. No one likes tiny people. Tiny people scary. So, this will be my 5th new dice system. Oh, how the time changes. Yeah, we're actually going to use, this is actually the first game to actually use this OVA system, so I might have to be referencing, what I should say is reference reference other games that use the system that kind of built on it a little bit. Because this was the first iteration of this system, now that I think about it, which obviously is going to have a lot of, we're going to call them quirks, everyone. They're going to call them quirks. Let's see. Oh yeah, this also had key rolls in that. I could probably clean this up. This is most likely this will just be a session, a single episode, really. Character in Project Inchling is the titular Inchling. I can probably actually expand this section out a bit. Because the idea is that you were taking the role of Poktal, and the Poktal, actually, interestingly enough, actually has a little bit more history behind it than anything. My original idea of Poktal actually came from a game called In the Valley of Stars. And that game was what happens if you bring the Witcher about 30, 40 years in the future. Actually, for about 100 years in the future. Take the Witcher setting, bump it up about a century. And what resulted was pretty much, how do you make a monster hunting society, a group of people who hunt monsters for a living, into, you know, in a world where guns exist, gun lines, you know, there's more formalized military operations. There are, instead of, you know, wandering bandits, we have like a police force, we have an army, and that's on our beck and call, you know, standing armies and stuff like that. You know, warfare changed over the course of a century, of course. And what do you do with that group of people who've made their living, who've made an entire culture based around hunting monsters, in a world where you don't need to hunt monsters anymore? And what result was the Poktal, pretty much a group of people who, yeah, we are pretty much mercenaries for coins, and we know how to hunt monsters that nobody else really wants to hunt. And we kind of make do, but we're also kind of like half mail carriers, because nobody wants to do that, and we've kind of been regulated to like this really weird societal pariah role. I integrated that in the Inchling because I'm like, you know what? I think that works. Well, let's see. Strength, bravado, intuition, scholar, willpower. Yeah, we got a very basic attribute system. You know, I could change around attributes a bit. Maybe I want to, maybe I don't. Like, that's the one weird thing with Inchling, is that everything about it kind of snapped into place pretty easily. It's not a very long game. This game is only, God, how many pages is this? It's only 48 pages, but a lot of these pages are reliable mechanics I used before, or part of a very simple idea. Let's see, characters with high body, bravado, intuition, scholar. Probably the only odd one out is intuition, but that's if I remember correctly, that was, I needed to add that in to get that idea, that survivalist aspect in. And then we have a bunch of, I actually had to look a lot from the One Ring artwork, because the One Ring nailed the aesthetic I was going for. Oh geez, I forgot I had a Lifepath system in there. You know what? Let's do this. Let's expand the Lifepath system. Let's give them more options. more ideas, because it's actually the first, I think this is the only time I actually ever use a Lifepath system. I rarely use these. Even though, fun fact, I love Lifepath systems, I never find a good reason to use them, though. Oh, God. Yeah, no, I'm a poke tall because I broke the law, because I chose this life, because I have nothing else. I despise people. Who wrote this? Huh. Huh. Kevin Tabau. Let's see. Yeah, here's the 4 health bars. Four very odd little health bars. Because the idea behind what I wanted with Inchling was you have your blood, which is your physical health. Your illness is how sick you are. Hunger is how hungry you are, and depression is depression. And these will raise very quickly. Probably, clarify section and clean up. Let's see. I'll probably change. I'm actually going to put a note up way up top about that. Change. Characters to Poktal. Gonna be very mad at me, but I really don't care. Just thematic. Yeah, this is just cleaning. I could probably maybe expand hunger system. I mean, I did just do an entire game based around being hungry, so let's see. Values measure 20 every 5 points. Reduce number of dice rolled by 1. Having 12 hunger, 8 depression means character will be rolling 3 less dice in all their checks. And this is also the other completely bizarre combat system. I was experimenting with this. Ooh, excuse me. Now, I recently got a bunch of cocoa. And I love cocoa. I don't get to drink it as much as I usually do, as I like to. But I've been drinking that, and I like it. Because I based this game entirely off Neo Scavenger's combat system. That was the odd part. Which, if you ever want a completely bizarre game, it's Neo Scavenger. I love that game to pieces, but it is a game. You know what may work? Actually, you know what? Let's shift out around combat. We're gonna change this to the action point system. We're gonna change this to the action point system used in Urchin Queen, because I think that'll be a little bit more thematic and it'll be a little bit more meaty. I guess that would be the phrase. Give it a little bit more crunch that I'm looking for, and that might be good. I think that would work pretty well. I also just deleted that. Let's see. So Urchin Queen Carnival. I think that might work. I can keep all of this. And here's the beautiful thing, is I can keep everything in here. I just have to assign it action point values. That'll be pretty easy. I think I could probably, you know, I'm going to see if I can expand communication. Communication combat, question mark. Like, one of the big things with Neo Scavenger is that you run across someone, you don't quite know each other, yelling at them to fuck off is a completely valid strategy. I have a bigger stick than you. If you get close to me, I will stab you to death. And if you encounter another naked homeless man, probably he's not going to want to fuck with you if you have a big stick and he doesn't have a big stick and no armor on. Like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to fight this man. Maybe I don't. We'll expand. Expand and fix. Morale. Yeah, morale just needs an entire section dedicated to this. Actually, that actually may not be a terrible idea if I add in things like fear and hunger status effects. And that would be thematic. That would be appropriate. Oh yeah, here's the jank-ass space distance. Fix this space distance method. Clarify its points. If you're noticing, it's going to be a lot of please clarify this, because that's really all I can do with the system. Let's see, report back to any news, deliver any key goods between settlements, rules are uncaring. Let's see, stamina, which is a skill and abilities characters have to maneuver. How much stamina? Earlier. Total willpower of the group for each traveling companion had +1 to morale. Morale, which working on dragging the injured around, reduce morale of the group. Current party morale, reduce the amount of stamina expended for actions, forcing the group to consume more supplies to survive or rest in increasingly dangerous locations. Yeah, you want to keep stamina high good, stamina low bad. If it's fully expended, they wish to recover, they must take a rest, hunkering down a location until they have to travel again. 5d6, depending on the result, recover that much stamina for a day. Formalize section. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of formalizing these sections down, I think, into their own little sections. Like, this is what this does. This is what this does. This is what this does. Like, this entire section. Where is it? Reopen. Like, this entire section, we're going to expand out to its own thing, because this is, right now, hunger is really derived just entirely from, hey, you have food versus you don't have food. We can expand that out. I think that's going to be fun if we expand that out. Characters expending stamina. Roughly speaking, each hex is roughly 0.25 kilometers or 0.16 miles. Each hex may have a unique feature attached to it, such as landmark or an outpost. There is no unique feature. The hex is filled with natural fauna of the area. It's probably the land and difficulty problem associated with it. Because the idea is, again, you are very tiny. And we as people, we as human beings do not see that very well. We can cover a mile in, you know, not even an afternoon. You know, it's very easy for us, you know, it's very easy for us to walk long distances. But picture walking across, like, picture getting your desk. Now, put your thumb up and just inch it along. That would be about, like, that's a brisk walk for someone, where we would say it takes us 2 steps. That's many steps. That's, you know, 100 steps. That's 50. That's 60. Just all these little steps that you have to attribute to these longer adventures. Hell, moving across a parking lot is a massive endeavor because it's just slab of concrete. And to a small creature, an inch high, an inchling, you know, they're standing an inch high, walking across a parking lot is a task. It's a Herculean task of going across solid nothing for what we would feel like miles. Only to kind of like, oh, congratulations, okay, I've reached the point of safety. Finally, a landmark where we would see it's a rock. And that was kind of like one of the things that actually inspired this game, was just the idea of like, how does a person actually would perceive something of that size? And the thing is, it gets scary. Everything would be much larger. Everything is terrifyingly huge, but that means everything would also have to be scaled that way. You know, walking a few steps for us is covering a few feet. What a few steps for them is covering a few inches. It might take them, for us to walk across our entire room, it might take someone that much to walk across our foot. Once you start thinking like that, things get a lot weirder with this game, and you have to address things in just a little bit different. A river isn't something you can ford. A river is something that is a vast fucking ocean of nightmares. Let's see. Good deal, creatures. I got random events. Oh yeah, I don't have any term for the Game Master. I just call them the Game Master. Let's see. The gamble. Characters expend difficulty. Oh yeah, this was before I even had sorted paragraphs. Yeah, I know, this was way before I had sorted paragraphs. Oh, goodness. Let's see, guide. Traveling challenges. Not every challenge is random, every day. Character may choose to use one stamina. Use 1 stamina to perform an action in the area. These actions allow the character to make a check to receive benefit, boon, resource. Guide. Convenient shortcut or hidden pathway. How do I do train? Yeah, I'm gonna fixie. Hunt. Ventures away from the group to hunt food and supplies. Conditions. Foggy. Expand out and increase number. I have done more things with this kind of system, so I'm going to probably take more and arguably through the lexicon. We want to do, where are you? Creating a world. Now, if I really wanted to, I would go with the FISC system. But I don't think that's entirely appropriate. So I'm not going to do it. However, implement implement a random map creation system. Question mark. Do something akin to Forgotten Chronicles with the idea of roll a bunch of dice, determine where it is, and kind of map up the area from there. That could be interesting in its own way. A little bit odd, but it could work. It would allow a little bit more, dare I say, naturalistic maps being formed, which may be appropriate, which may not be. Who knows? I don't know. I know I have more of these. Implement. I have added more of these over time. So I'm going to add them all, because I feel it's appropriate. Signs of civilizations, outposts. These outposts are early man outside the occasional we're traveling or maintenance. Way stations, villages. Wow, that's a way station. Way station is a little more than a shack. Villages is the main social unit of the Inchling. Actually, I could probably expand out. Give that a little bit more character. I want the idea of way stations to be, I am a traveler. I am walking along the road. There's a whole lot of nothing, and someone has built a little shack in the side of a tree that we can go into and kind of hide out, and for the time it's safe, it's warm, it's comfortable. Pretty much allows you to do something. Population duty 6 times 25, not residents of the village, large village, meaning more shops and goods. I could probably expand out. Cities, these uncommon phenomenon. Roll 1d6, determine the ruling body of the city. These affect its politics as well as nature. Bureaucracy as well as the administration. We want to we want to expand this out as well. I think this would be a fun little section. Also give me a little bit more room to maneuver when it comes to project after this. That could be pretty interesting. Example journey. The big ones. Int versus the trying difficulty, avoid being spotted on success. Not spotted, but on a failure. Seen. And the big one reacts. Counter them. describing them as more eldritch abominations rather than a simple human or cat. It's a titanic, fleshy-colored beast with multicolored hide, speaking in deep guttural tones, towering above the Poketall like an imperious statue, and an orange and furry creature with wicked teeth and evil eyes glaring at its fresh prey. Menace and terror should be the thing that comes to mind with big ones. They cannot be fought, really can be reasoned with. I could probably add more big ones. Let's see, absent-minded. Difference in depression. Let's see. Yeah, I can probably... Yeah, here's your Gargamel right here. Gargamel! Oh, we love Gargamel. Let's see. Poketall venture beyond the reveal. Oh, wow. That's a lot of... More? To make your own weapon assign a die value, with the value being relative to how strong the weapon is. What is this section? What is this? Stop that. Perhaps add more weapons? I don't really know what else to add. These are pretty much the extent of my weapons. Unless I go really... Unless I make that like my autistic project for this game. I do know I can add more ranged weapons. More ranged weapons. Because I know we have some more of these. We can add some different throwing weapons and such. I think that would be appropriate. Armor. Formalize armor a bit. Keeping the basic systems. Probably still goes for shields. Just expanding it out here a little bit. Gear. More gear, more gear, more gear, more gear, more gear, more gear. I have all the stuff here. That's the thing. Like, I have all the gear. I have everything I need. I just need to add it. Because Fear and Hunger did all of this for me. Let's see. Yeah, no, this could work pretty well. Objects and mementos. These were actually some of the interesting stuff. Just things that people want. Knowledge, you know, maps, books, piece of information, greater world, shinies. Advancements. Let's see. Let's see. Poketall rarely static. They are individuals who increase their abilities and extra experience based on the length of their eventually go on. So, character traveling a village over is going to receive less experience than a later stop. The character gains +1 experience on the trip. While the other major aspect of adventures is also a single experience, just like a mighty monster, delivering essential goods or completing a story milestone. Oh yeah, this is when I was like, yeah, I need to add more options, so we can probably add more options here. Yeah, Odyssey Pocket Style. Yeah, we can probably add like 2 or 3 more styles. I think that would be fun. We also have a few additional mats. We have non-inchling creatures. Let's see, we'll add more options here. I said we'll add more options here. If I can actually click comment instead of cancel, because I am silly. Travel over land, air, and sea. Mouse mount. Gliders, pleasant weather only. Difficult. Teapot dinghy. The magical world of Inchlings. And as you can tell, I completely put this at the bottom, like I completely forgot about it, and I did forget about it. Wait, no, I don't want that. Center, middle. This is kind of like a... Yeah, here's magic, I guess. This is magic now. I don't know. Question mark? Stuff. Let's do stuff with this. I don't know what I want to do. Especially on many schools of magic out there, this counts as their target number 5. Every subsequent school chosen, increase the target number by 2. What? X. What is this? Notepad. What were you smoking when you wrote this? Notepad, please. What are you doing to me? Well, I can't think of any more vehicles to really add. Clarify that. Probably move you down below. Let's see. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be fairly simple to get through all this. This will, judging by what we accomplished here, I would say we can rip and tear through this game in probably about... I would say if we do a Notepad Must Dies tomorrow, we can rip through as much of the game as physically possible and just do it in one big burst. It'll be like a 3-hour fucking odyssey, but it'll work. Or we split it up into Monday and Wednesday. Kind of. We'll play it by ear, I think. I'll start on it tomorrow, and if I can rip through things easy enough, then awesome. Poggers, as they would say. Poggers in the chat. However, if not, okay, we'll just split up. It'll be a two-day ordeal. But like a lot of the parts I need is just fixing the wording or adding things from games that already are there. So I don't really need to worry about that too much. Like one of the beautiful things about this game is that it was very much a game that worked, and I used it as a baseline for other games. So I have all these other things to build off of it pretty easily that I can now add back to it and expand on it, which is almost the entire reason I do so many games using the same systems. It's just like, okay, I fixed this part of it and I expanded this out, so I can now integrate it into this game. I can now integrate it into this game. Da 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 da. Overall, I think that'll work pretty well. So, yeah, I think I'll call it there. Thank you all for watching. You all have a wonderful rest of your day. Godspeed and good luck. And after Inchling is done, we get to work on Endless Adventures, which I am mod. I am not looking forward to. So Godspeed. I'll catch you all on the flip side. Sayonara.